Welcome to Successful Living with Bill Knapik. Every week, we talk with interesting people in a variety of professions for ideas to enhance your success in all aspects of life. Successful Living with Bill Knapik starts right now. Here's Bill Knapik.
Welcome to the show. It is Successful Living with Bill Knapik, and today a special edition once again. He's back by popular demand, by the way, Dave Hite, Hite Tech Inspections, and we have sort of obviously, Dave, it's an entrepreneur edition, but
Absolutely.
We're in the food world today on location at a restaurant called Sushi by the Heights. Dave, let's tell people how you put this all together.
So there are two things I'm super excited about on the radio show today is I love entrepreneurship and I love food. Yeah. So we're going to celebrate both of those things today. Have a great show for you. Have John Frells, who does a couple of things. He is in the mortgage industry, and He helps with the foodies all around the Heights. He's got a couple of extra groups. We're going to talk about how he started those. Here's one thing I know about John. John loves food. If you look on his Facebook, he's always out there eating somewhere, displaying some food, loves everything about it. And then we have Chris Constantine, who's one of my favorite sushi chefs in the city. Loves Sushi by the Heights. Come here all the time. So we want to talk about his journey into becoming the chef and the owner here. So John, tell us a little bit about yourself, and you can talk about the mortgage business a little bit, but really I wanted you to focus on Heights Foodies.
So I love the mortgage business. I tell people I'm all into local. I'm all into supporting local, small business, mom and pop, and just enjoying life. And when people enjoy life, they need to own the city that they're in. So I tell people, stop paying somebody else's mortgage. Get your own. Own a piece of property in this great city.
And I can tell you, John's been in the mortgage business for years and years and years. I've known him for a long time. He does a great job. If you have a mortgage need, absolutely give him a call. So tell us how you went from mortgage to transitioning to
But also, let's
the
tell
Heights
about the
Foodies.
mortgage company. It's one of our good friends.
Yeah,
It is one of our
I
good
work
friends.
with Chris Kelso at the Kelso Group with NRL Mortgage, and we definitely put the fun in funding.
Without
Fun
a
and
doubt.
funny. Let's tell people the number just in case someone wants to call. And we love Chris Kelso, by
We
the
do
way.
love
Yeah,
Chris
love
Kelso.
Yeah. So you can always go to nrlmortgage.com. And, of course, with me, you want to do /John Frells, JOHNFRELS. But you can go to the main website and see any of our loan officers in the Kelso Group.
And if you want to hear Chris Kelso, every Saturday, the Rat Pack on
Excellent show.
100.7.
Real Estate
Great
Rat
show,
Pack,
the
yeah.
Real Estate Rat Pack. I'll be there as well. So you can listen every Saturday morning from 9 to 10. So, John, tell us a little bit about, you do mortgage, you've done mortgages for years, but now all of a sudden you have this new venture, which just brought a smile to your face because you love it so much.
I do.
It's called the Heights Foodies. It's a Facebook group. Tell
Yes.
us how that transition happened.
Well, it's not really a trend. I've always loved food, and I love travel. And, you have to fund it somehow. So I do mortgages. I do. But luckily, I love what I do.
That is
So-
true. John uses mortgages to fund
Yes,
his food and his
I
travel.
do.
That is very
I do.
true.
So you're either going to see me talking about something I'm eating or somewhere I'm going. It's a funny thing. I started this group, a little history, probably in 2018, 2019, and there were probably about 100 of my close friends on this group. And because we lived in the Heights, and many of y'all may not know this, but the Heights was dry, meaning there was no alcohol sold in the Heights. There were a couple of restaurants that had it, but you had to join a private club. And that's why there was no restaurants
Right.
around
The
there.
restaurants, it has not been the destination it
was not.
for
It was
years
not-
and years and years.
Yeah, it was just a great place to live.
And when did that happen? When did the transition from a dry to a wet area happen?
So, well, first COVID happened, and then people were getting on my page in my group saying, gosh, what can I do? I'm sick of cooking. And so some of my restaurant friends like Federico Cavatori started, we had a chat, and I said, he started going out in the parking lot delivering food to the car, and then the state changed the law with alcohol, so he would come out as your sommelier to the car
I
with a
love
bottle of wine to go with the meal that you bought, and then other restaurants started with that too.
I do love Cavatori's. I will say this, though. I really, really wish they would bring back their ossobuco. It was so delicious.
They
I
do
look
it
forward to that.
usually in the colder months on Fridays.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
so it's one of my favorite. It's probably my favorite ossobuco in the Heights.
It really is good.
Well,
if you've not
take it
had
back.
it, you should try
it's
it.
that. My other favorite is at Triola, which I don't think you've been to Triola
I have not
yet.
been to Triola. Now, they also have a crawfish dish there that is absolutely spectacular. It's a pasta dish, one of my favorites there. I really enjoy going to Cavatori. So, but yes, please bring back
We just
ossobuco
continue
year-round.
Digressing, because we can talk about food all day here.
All day.
Yeah.
And so you started it just as a group to put information out for your friends. Is
Right.
that kind of how it started?
Right, because it's like, where are you going tonight? I don't know. What's going on? So then, I think it's his name's Scott McClellan with HEB.
Okay.
He wanted to have an HEB in the Heights. So he couldn't have one because he couldn't have beer and wine. And he wanted to go in that old Fiesta space on North Shepherd.
I remember that.
And I know probably all of y'all have gone to that space now. It's a cool 2-story.
I do,
HEB.
and I do love because they spelled out Heights but left the I out, and people are like, well, why is that? It's because you're supposed to stand in
Yep,
there.
and
That
you're the
I
I.
in Heights.
You
it's
are.
a super cool thing. You get back there and people take pictures, but
All the
people
time.
ask me all the time, "Where's the I?" Well,
It's like,
you're
you're
the
the
I.
I. Yeah.
So it's a really
kinda
cool thing they
clever,
thought
huh?
through there. Yes.
So I guess HEB must have dumped a lot of money into the election, because the way the law was written when the Heights was annexed by the city of Houston was there will be no alcohol until the end of time, or something
Wow.
like that. It was, very
That's a long
archaic.
time.
They're
Look at the
casting a
time.
vision there, and not a good one.
Right. So
It's a pretty long span of time.
90-something% of the people that live in the original Skinny Heights footprint had to vote to change the law, and it finally passed. So then all of a sudden, boom, restaurants just started popping up everywhere. And before I knew it, because I didn't plan this to happen, didn't wake up one day and say, "Ooh, I want to be an influencer and have a huge foodie page." It just happened.
Not that you don't love it, John. I know you.
Yeah.
Well, let's tell people if they want to access the page or be a part of it. Is that possible for those that are
Anybody
listening?
can
How
join.
can they do
You
that?
just go to Houston Heights Foodies in Facebook and join. And there's a couple of questions you answer on. I want to know why you're interested in it, because I don't want people to saying, "Hey, I want to sell my, air filters or something."
Right.
They have to do a little bit of work.
Air filters, huh?
But I'll tell you,
Or
I use
whatever.
it.
Yeah.
I use it as a source of information.
Right.
I go there because it's so cool that when a new restaurant comes, then I get that information. You get reviews, and I will say one thing: that Heights Foodies does not like the Ruby app. I definitely know that is definitely true about the
I
Heights
made it
app.
a sole purpose to hate that app.
Eradicate the Ruby app. I mean, John has made that a personal
and you know
quest.
what? It's gone from what I understand. I don't think any restaurant around here has that app anymore.
Yeah.
And the last nail in the coffin, that just straw that broke the camel's back, whatever it was that Mexican place that I think it was called Three Amigos or something, was where it's now called Upside Pub, where Shepherd Park used to
Shepherd
be.
Park, which
And
was
it
one of my
the-
favorite pubs. I really
yes,
do miss
Upside
Shepherd
Pub.
Park.
Well, you need to go to Upside Pub.
Yeah,
The
is it
food there
good?
is awesome.
Okay,
yeah,
great.
it's
Where's
excellent.
that at?
Upside Pub
34th and
is 34th
Shepherd.
and Shepherd.
It's a new
in
one,
that
yeah.
strip center. There's like Molly's Mud House. There's a Pink's Pizza, and there's the Upside Pub. It used to be called Shepherd Park.
Yeah, and the little liquor store, and then
Yeah.
Cottonwood is down,
Yeah,
down a
from it.
little farther, which again is one
So
of my favorites as
it
well.
was a cool theme. It was
Slayer was one they loved there. Oh, and
no,
ZZ Top
ZZ
was
Top.
one they loved
Yes.
there.
So that was a
pictures
theme,
everywhere.
right?
Oh, wow.
So you had to order in the app, and COVID was still kind of going on, but the waiter would have to stand over you, breathing on you, like showing you how to download this app, and then it was frustrating. And the final straw was when I wanted chopped onions for my cheese enchilada, because I like the crunch of the chopped onion on the
Gotcha.
cheese enchilada. And he said, "Well, you have to order it through the app." And it's like, "Well, how much is it?" And he said, "Oh, it's free." And it's like he couldn't find the onions, and by the time he could have gone like 20 times to go get me my free onions, and I had to order it through the app, and by that time my cheese was getting congealed, and I was just mad. And it's like I made it.
We
I
don't
said,
want the cheese to be congealed.
No
and also,
congealed cheese, Bill.
By the way, that's the title of my next book, When the Waiter Gets Too Close.
Yes.
Just saying. John, you
Yeah, I don't
you
like
could
it
do
when
the
a waiter
forward.
breathes
For
on
sure.
me. Yeah.
So that's when I said, this is my new ambition right now. My mission in life is to get rid of this app.
Well,
And
also,
you definitely can tell it on
Yeah.
the
so
on
we're going
the
to
site.
certainly pique interest in your Facebook, the Houston Heights Foodies.
Houston Heights Foodies.
And the other, what are the content that people will see when they go there?
mostly
an idea.
they're
That'll help
reviews,
them find
but it
restaurants, right?
Right. It gets sometimes a little political. We try to. It can be a full-time job sometimes trying to police that and keep people on track of, hey, we're here to talk about food.
Talk about food, right?
Right.
We get enough of that everywhere else.
Right.
So if we get on the app, we could see about some of the new restaurants. I've already
Yes.
heard about restaurants since I don't live in this area.
Right.
About a lot of ones I'm already going, and one of them is going to be Sushi by the Heights.
You
I've not
absolutely.
been, and there's several others I want to go
Oh,
to.
yeah.
So
And here's
I
the
love
thing
to
I
find
love
out
about
that.
food. Food unites everybody, and that's
Yes.
why I love keeping the political out of it, because
Exactly.
in the Heights is a great area. We love everybody. We accept everybody. We're quirky.
Right.
That's something I love about the
Right.
Heights.
A little
It's
bit of
different-
Austin, right?
Yeah, it is.
Houston.
right here. And so I love that you keep the political off of there, because everybody enjoys food, and we need places in our lives where
Right.
people can come together, forget about all that other
Right.
stuff, and just
Enjoy the
each
food,
other
right.
and enjoy
Exactly.
the food
Right.
together.
Around
It's
the
a
table.
really great,
Yeah.
really great thing.
Yeah, the
and,
other-
and you were telling me you're just a few people shy now. You started with about 100 of your friends.
100 or so, and we're just about 75 or so shy of 27,000.
That is incredible,
Yeah,
John. That
it's
is a
probably
great
one of
group.
probably the third or fourth largest foodie group in Houston now.
Right, and
Yeah.
and you didn't start with that intention, but here it is.
I know, it
and
just
you
happened.
started a couple of other groups as well, so people because
Yes.
here's the thing that you've got to know about John. John absolutely 100%. He loves supporting local, and so instead of just expanding the group, he made different groups because he wants the people in their area to know about what their area offers.
Well, there's other groups that cover the whole city, and it just you kind of get lost in it because somebody will like say, well, I want to go for whatever. And then they like say, oh, well, you're and you may be in the Heights. And they say, oh, well, you need to go to Bel Air. It's like, well, I don't want to go to Bel Air. I mean, I'm maybe on a Saturday or something, I want to venture out, but I want something in my neighborhood. So I think that's one of the other things, because I think we might have been the first group that did like just an area of town.
and what are the other areas of town that you've expanded
So
into?
I've started the Montrose Area Foodies, which is River Oaks, Montrose, and the Fourth Ward. And then I have Houston, Downtown, Midtown, Edo Foodies.
Okay.
So there's three separate
I have
groups.
3 separate groups now.
Wow. So, and each one is going to give you the ideas of the restaurants,
Right.
what people think about them. I'm going to guess there's probably pictures of food.
Oh, of course. Well,
One of my favorite
I always
things.
encourage the people that belong to join, and when they go to a restaurant, do the foodie picture and talk about it. The other thing I don't like is when they just go in a restaurant and bash it, or not,
Right.
really
Right,
not say something
right.
and don't have anything to back it up. It's like, okay, well, what was wrong this time? Is it something that was just a fluke? Or, explain what's going on here.
I do love that it's not about just going in, and there's a lot of positivity in the
Yeah.
group, which would reflect you,
Well,
because
but,
that's kind of
sometimes
who you
there is
are.
the negative. And sometimes I will write something that I didn't like, and
You will.
they'll jump all over me sometimes.
Yeah, but
Um,
it's not just about complaining about
Yeah.
people. It's about learning about the food that is available. When I'm looking for a new restaurant, that's exactly where I go. I
Yeah.
go to Houston Heights Foodies, because it lets me know, hey, here's a new place, and
Yeah.
and here's something you may not want to try. Here's something you may
Right.
want to try, and it gives food options. So
Right.
it's been a really good addition. I love food. I love all the restaurants here in the Heights. I love the Heights. I mean, it's such one of the coolest places in
It
the
really
city
is.
of Houston.
Yeah.
I mean, if you've not experienced the Heights, like White Linen Nights is coming up in August.
Yep.
Now, I'm going to have to say, I'm not exactly sure why you do linen in the middle of the summer. It is super hot, but it is such
you
a
wanna wear
fine
linen.
and fabulous event.
Do you not know how that started?
I do not.
So White Linen is from New Orleans, from the CBD, the Central Business District. There were galleries in there, and that part of town, just the sidewalk rolled up at 5 o'clock, and the galleries just sat there empty. So the Central Business District group got together, and they came up with this thing called White Linen Night. They also have Dirty Linen Night, which I think is a week later, and people wear their sweaty, dirty linen.
Oh, is that
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Dirty linen
Yeah,
nights.
I don't think I want to bring dirty linen here, but that might be fun. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to go to that one.
So
White
we
Linen
did the
Nights
same
are
thing
so
in the
great.
Heights, because 19th Street used to be after 5 o'clock. It was dead. People didn't go to 19th Street, and now it's restaurants, little
And
bars.
11th Street.
Yeah.
I mean, it is amazing. The transformation in the last 5 years in the Heights
Oh,
is
yeah.
absolutely amazing. If you've not been to the Heights in the last 5 years, you will not recognize it. Now,
Right.
here's what I also love about the Heights is they keep some of the old traditions. Like, I go to the barber shop right on 11th Street. It's old. You walk in, there's all kinds
You
of
know,
old
that's been in
pictures.
several movies.
It has been
Yeah.
in several movies.
Yeah.
And
There's
so
a barber shop that's been in, what's the name of it?
Doug's Barbershop.
In the Heights.
In
Yeah.
the Heights, and it is iconic. It's in this little strip center.
When you picture an old barber shop in a movie, this is the place because that's probably the movie.
It's almost
that-
like Floyd the Barber
Yeah,
might
it
be
is.
there or
It's almost
something like that. Yeah,
Exactly.
that's
I mean,
unbelievable.
I go in there. Richard Stempfli, he does my hair. Every
Obviously
time.
does a very good job.
I love Richard. He does a great and they've also gone to used to it was just walk in like any other barbershop. Now they have an app where you schedule your appointment. I
Right.
like it so much better because you could walk in, there'd be 5 people in front of me waiting on Richard, and I'm like,
Right.
man, it's going to be an hour and a half before I can get my hair cut. And I love that I can go in now, schedule it, go in, get my hair cut. But they have when JFK got shot, they have the newspaper on the wall. When Nixon resigned, they have the newspaper on the wall. Anything there's a big
The
event,
actual paper.
the actual
Wow.
newspapers from that time. So it's a
And that's
really cool,
how long that
nostalgic
place
place.
has been there. Yeah.
A lot of heritage in the Heights and all around Houston, in fact. But as we sit here, Sushi by the Heights, we think about when you're
This is
talking
Stewart Wood.
Stewart, I'm sorry. So when you think about the restaurants just in a mile radius, 2-mile radius, as you're talking about all the restaurants, there are a bunch. And then we go
Tons.
to all the other areas in Houston, tons of restaurants. It's a great food city, no doubt. And when people certainly listen at the time of broadcast, yes, most everyone here in Houston knows about the Heights, but we have a lot of people listening on the internet outside, business travelers, and it becomes a destination for them
Oh, for
too.
sure.
And if not, they hear today, it may become that.
Yeah.
I mean, it used to be a bedroom community. Now it's just become this vibrant, beautiful community.
Oh,
that
even when I
love to
bought
be
my
part of.
house back in 2005, all my friends were saying, "Why would you want to live in the Heights?"
Right.
And of course now it's like
Kind of
ooh.
appreciated, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. Now they're like kicking themselves.
We are talking with John Frells. One of his food groups is Houston Heights Foodies, and Dave Hite, Hite Tech Inspections. We're talking about food, entrepreneur, and one of the things about restaurants, just in general, anywhere, they say all businesses have challenges, but the food business, the restaurant business, I think has some extra challenges.
Oh, for sure.
So when we have a restaurant that really hits it and is really good,
They need to know about it.
people need to know, and it doesn't happen by accident.
Well, you know that restaurants are more likely to not make it than any other business. I mean, it's
I
the
hear
hardest industry to actually get a foothold. And in the Heights
Right.
here, it's becoming harder and harder because
Well-
there's so many great choices. You can be a great choice, but there is fierce competition now in the
True.
Heights for that.
And then the other problem they have now is that the rent is just getting so high.
It is.
So
That's
you've
true.
you open a great restaurant, but you've still got this like sword of Damocles hanging over your head because you've got I've got to pay $10,000 a month rent
Yeah.
or whatever it is. It's crazy.
And the real estate in the Heights has
Yeah,
gone
it's-
crazy. If you want to live in the Heights, you're probably looking at. I mean, if you find something for $200 a square foot, you're in great
Yeah.
shape. $300 a square foot is really kind of where things are going these
Yeah,
days.
just a 6250 lot is probably 550,000 just for
yeah,
the lot.
Just right before you build anything.
Right.
So the Heights,
Wow.
the real estate in the Heights, if you bought, which I did early in 2014, is just gone crazy.
Yep.
So it's been a great thing.
And there's all the areas around the Heights, what we call the Greater Heights, which they're all here because of the original little skinny strip. So you've got Garden Oaks, you've got Shepherd Park Plaza, you've got Independence Heights, you've got Norhill, you've got Woodland Heights, all areas that are really great to live in.
Yeah, Garden Oaks is definitely a nice area right across Shepherd and the
Which
Heights.
my Heights Foodie Group covers that area too. I have a really huge map that I'm very liberal with my
Now,
what I call
do
the Greater
you have
Heights.
a map that people can actually look
Yeah.
at
Yes,
on the
site you can see the area that I cover because we have to go, and it's probably like a mile or so radius, maybe a couple of miles. But I like to say that what I call the Greater Heights, and I'm also I'm in the Heights Chamber of Commerce because I kind of went with the area where most of our members are. We tiptoe over 45 a little bit into that area. We go to Memorial Drive. We go probably there. We've got NOPO, which is a member of the Heights Chamber, which is on Post Oak Road. So a little bit over 610 that way. And then we go up to Pinemont in the north. So a pretty big area.
Well, and can restaurants join the Heights Foodies?
A restaurant, it's a person with the restaurant, or if the restaurant has a page that's, I guess you could say, joinable to a group like that.
And if
sure.
they have something special going on, they can post it on there?
Yes, I'm kind of particular on that too. I don't want just a generic plop post like here, where it's got a burger special. I want somebody to tell me, hi, I'm so-and-so, I'm with this restaurant. Tell me a little bit about your POV, your point of view, and what's going on and why you're posting this. Just not generic. I want some meat in there with it.
So you want the people to actually be involved.
Correct.
In the post.
Right. I don't want you to say what you have this great thing. I want me to tell you why. I want you to make me want to go there.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. If you've never looked at the Houston Heights Foodies group, you really should go there. Such interesting content and great information. If you're trying to pick out a new restaurant, it is absolutely the place to go in the Heights. If you want the good information, you'll get reviews, you'll get the meals that they have, the specialties that they do. So if you get a chance, go on your Facebook, sign up for Houston Heights Foodies.
Yep.
I promise you will not be disappointed. It is just such a great group,
Yeah, let's
John.
make it 30,000.
Right? You've done such a great job with it.
Thank you.
So one of the things I'm thinking of, too, when we're talking about what the content that's on there, and especially the pictures, that's a thing right now. Can you imagine people 50, 100 years ago? People are taking pictures of food all the time.
Right.
I even do it when even if I'm by myself, I see something really good, I'm taking a picture. Can you imagine if we told our ancestors, first of all, they didn't know about cameras, some of them, but that we'd be taking pictures of food. And by the way, the picture of the food really does a lot when it's on a social media
for sure.
platform and things like that. And anyway, people that love food love to look at pictures, love to eat the food.
Well, and I think it's just so interesting that the Heights is actually attracting some big name chefs.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Underbelly has some great restaurants in the new Caninos over
Correct.
there. That market. If you've not been,
that's a new
if
one
you
for
remember
me.
Caninos, it was the old market.
Farmers market.
It was beautiful farmers market. Was a great thing, but they tore that all down. They built this wonderful center there. And Wild Oats, I'm actually going to brunch at Wild Oats on Sunday.
Right.
And so what are some of the famous chefs that have? Because he has a TV show, but what are some of the famous chefs that have now come into the Heights?
Well, we've got that, of course. Also, Henderson and Kane is moving over there. They're almost finished with their space. We've got, and I'm horrible with names. We've got the chef with Zen Chow. Yeah, it's over there.
Check it out.
And she's the chef that she's blind.
Okay.
And she also has Blind Goat. I don't know if you've been to Blind Goat.
Okay, I've not been to Blind Goat.
That's in Spring Branch, I think. And Spring Branch is the newest foodie area that I need to start exploring.
Right, it is definitely changing over there as well.
And we've got James Beard winner at the bar. Oh my gosh, I'm just so horrible right now. On
and John
Washington.
Besh,
Yeah.
I am throwing out an invitation. The Heights is so good that I would love to have you come. And so I've actually had a private dinner with John Besh. He's fabulous and engaging. Really love him. So John, please come to the Heights. We'd love to have all of that beautiful Cajun food.
But,
So he's a chef?
He is.
Yeah.
John
Which
Besh.
restaurant?
So he has multiple restaurants across the country. He's super famous. If you Google him, you'll see he's got a huge list of restaurants. So we'd love for you to come and be part of the Houston Heights community.
But we've got a James Beard winner now. We've got lots of James Beard nominees. So it's
well, and I would love to see some chef highlights on Chef Foodies. I think on Heights Foodies. That would be super fun to go there and just this week or this whatever we're featuring. So
maybe you and I could do that,
right?
Yeah.
I think that would be
It
super
would be
fun.
yeah.
I would love to do that. Well, John, cannot tell you how much I appreciate you. I view John personally in the mortgage business. He's fantastic. Love your page. I really appreciate the service to the Heights. Because now that we're actually developing and people are beginning to know and understand, the Heights is a place. If you want to do great food and go on a food tour or even Let's face it, there's great karaoke. There's so many things.
Lots of fun things to do.
Lots of fun things here in the
Shopping
Heights.
up and down 19th Street. I'm also very into shopping local, so I want you to visit all our little mom and pop shops.
Those
too.
19th Streets. There's some cool stuff down there.
like
And
Jubilee.
Shandy's downtown.
Shandy's
has done fabulous work there. So, John, really appreciate you coming on the show today.
Like
Appreciate
I said, we could talk all day about this.
We could. There's no doubt. I mean, we have lunch. The lunch is not an hour. It's much longer.
For sure.
As it should be.
As it should be.
And, John, let's tell people, once again, in the mortgage world, they can reach you by calling.
John Farrell's the mortgage guru with the Kelso Group at NRL Mortgage. And you can always call me on my cell anytime at 713-822-0475, or you can go to nrlmortgage.com/John Farrells. And like I said, anyone in the Kelso Group is fabulous. And
Absolutely.
like I told you before, we put the fun in funding.
And the phone number again is
713-822-0475.
And we're going to say hi to Chris Kelso just for the fun of it.
Of course.
Hey, Chris. And our next segment, we have one of my favorite sushi chefs on the planet, Chris Constantine. So we'll be right back with our brand new chef here in the Sushi from the Heights.
Excellent.
At Hite, their motto is great inspections, great customer service, and giving back. They want to make sure their clients receive the best inspection in the industry by using all the latest technology available today to ensure a new home buyer has all the information they need to make an informed decision about their home purchase. They have the most updated infrared to detect hidden water leaks, electrical malfunctions, and missing insulation, as well as moisture meters that can detect moisture 2 to 3 inches beyond the surface to find hidden moisture in the structure. They also have water, Wi-Fi cameras so they can perform a roof inspection even in the rain. Every foundation is measured with the best altimeter to check for variations that could indicate foundation issues. They even have a drone that can go under pier and beam houses so they can see the entire underside of the structure. After performing the inspection, they meet with every client to go over the findings so you can ask questions about anything they found. And they also talk about maintaining your home. Their promise to you is they will never leave until all of your questions are answered. Their reports are easy to read and include pictures and videos of all the important items in your house. They also work with your agent to help prioritize the important items on the report. At Hite, they want to make sure you have the best experience in the industry if you choose to use them for your home inspection. And they are there with you as long as you own your home. As long as you own the home Hite inspected, you can send a picture or video of anything going on with your home, and they will give you a free, unbiased opinion about what is happening and tell you who you need to call to address the problem. You'll also be supporting many local projects to help veterans and underprivileged people in the Houston area. If you need a home inspection, call Hite first at 832-477-0367 or schedule on the web at HiteTechInspections.com. That's HITE techinspections.com. You'll be glad you did.
And we are back again here with Bill Knapik and Chris Constantine. He is the fabulous chef here at Sushi by the Heights. Chris, welcome to the show. We want to feature what you do and kind of talk about your story. I mean, you said you were born in Indonesia. Tell us about where you started in Indonesia. Tell us about how you got over here and became a sushi chef.
Well, first of all, thank you for inviting me here, for sure. My name is Chris Constantine with Sushi by the Heights. So came to the journey starting from New York. Went to the CIA, and then they found out that too expensive for me to continue the journey. And then I just get out from there and getting my first job at the local sushi restaurant in New Jersey called the East Fusion back in the day. So from there,
And about how long ago was that?
That was, I believe, 2017.
Okay, so you've
16, almost 17 years ago, 16 years, yeah.
Yeah, so, well, no, 2007 or 17?
No, sorry, 2007.
Okay,
yeah.
so 2007.
Correct.
So about 16 years ago, you came to America and started working in a sushi restaurant in New Jersey.
Correct. So before then, I was homestay 5 years before 2007, and then I came to my country. So I never came across actually become a chef or opening a restaurant.
That was never your intention?
Never been intention, exactly. My dad was in the business industry. So, business was in my mind, but it never across my mind like, oh, restaurant is going to be.
I'm going to America. I'm leaving Indonesia. I'm going to America. I'm going to start a restaurant.
And
That was not what you were thinking.
And you're the owner of this restaurant.
Yes.
And I'm going to go to America, and I'm going to own a restaurant in
What a
the
great
very
story,
popular
right?
Heights. That's awesome.
And I'm going to tell you, if you've not been to Sushi by the Heights, it is absolutely fabulous. I don't know how you source your fish, Chris. I'd love to know. But it is absolutely fresh. I've never one time been here and been disappointed with the quality. How do you source your fish to get it so fresh?
Well, for sure that we need to work with the local vendor, supplier that we trusty. And then also like special fish that came from Japan that we order from a Japanese vendor. Most of the sushi restaurant in Houston so far, they know about that fish vendor. So we order like once a week, sometimes twice a week that come in different kind of fish.
And your fried rice, I don't know how you do that, but it's different, it's darker, it is got some sort of flavor. I know you put a spice in there. You're not going to tell me what it is, but I know it's something very distinctive. Is that your recipe? Did you run into that? How did you get your fried rice?
It is my recipe. Actually, it's very simple. Japanese fried rice is everyone can make it at home. What is make it the different is only that we're using the wok fire. With the wok, that's the most important thing. So the ingredient is very simple: soy sauce base, salt, sugar, and the hondashi. That's pretty much it. There's nothing secret on it.
See, I love it, Bill, that he just makes it sound like this is just what, this is just easy, right? This is how it is. And then he throws this beautiful food on the table. I mean, and they've got such a distinct menu. I mean, you have lots and lots to offer. I was actually here last night, had the ribeye. I love that.
Ribeye.
The ribeye was delicious. Yes.
Wow.
Here you can get. So if your friends don't like sushi, there are lots of other options that are offered here.
Well, let me ask you about the ribeye, Chris. The ribeye, is that cooked in a wok? Or
No.
how do you cook the
we
ribeye?
have the real steak, bone-in ribeye, 22 ounces, and then we do have a bone-in short ribs, sous vide bone-in short ribs, for about 15 hours. So it came like really nice, tender, and melt.
And you've got this crazy lunch special.
Oh.
I mean, I come in here and I'm looking at it. I think if I remember right, it's $17, which just seems super reasonable for a sushi restaurant. And you get miso soup, you get assorted tempura, you get how many pieces of sashimi on there?
For sashimi sampler?
No. For the actual.
The lunch bento box.
Yes, the lunch. Yeah.
9 pieces.
9 pieces of sashimi, 5 pieces of sushi, right?
3 pieces, and then 4 California.
And then 4 California rolls for $17.
$17.
Less than that, actually. You can get it from 12 to 17. Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy, but I've had it, and it is an amazing amount of food. But not only is it an amazing amount of food, it is delicious, every bit of it. And so you get to try, especially if you've never tried sashimi without the rice. Although I'm going to tell you, Chris, there's something you put in the rice. You do not put the ginger in the rice, and you certainly don't put the wasabi in the rice. But there's a spice you put in the rice that makes it very distinctive. So if you haven't tried the sushi here, it is just a different experience. So I know you're not going to probably reveal the secrets of how you cook the rice, but the rice is absolutely a good part of the sushi. And then you've got this bartender named Jacob.
Yes.
Who I love. If you love old fashions, Jacob makes a spectacular old fashions, and you do the smoked old fashioned, right?
Right. We agree that Jacob make a good old fashions. We call it here piggy in the cup. So if folks coming in here, please try that piggy in the cup in Sushi by the Hite.
Is that the name of your old fashioned, called piggy in a cup?
Correct.
Because I always ask him just for an old fashioned, and so he knows what I'm talking about. Just makes it for me. But,
right.
But not a lot of places. I love mine smoked. The smoky old fashioned is my favorite, and I love that Jacob has that in the back there. He's always here when I come.
Yeah.
So you came from Indonesia. You went to New Jersey. You started working in
New York.
You went to New York.
New York, yes.
And so, I know if anyone from New York doesn't want to say they're from New Jersey. I mean, we know how that works out there. I mean, there's this big rivalry there. So sorry about that. Apologize.
No, I live in Jersey for a little bit.
What
and then
city?
I move around Berkeley Heights.
Okay.
Yeah.
And were you interested in sushi, or it just happened that that's a job that came open for you?
It was actually get through the school back then. Was when there's the job opening, then I started applying back then. And I remember back in the day was, we didn't getting paid much, but then, I wanted to be like the experience, right? Like I was like, in the future, probably that I want to open my own restaurant.
Okay.
From,
So once you got a job there, then that idea kind of came about. Okay, I might want to open one of these one day.
Correct. A long journey, actually. When I was started, went to the culinary industry was because that back in the day, my dad has a business in Indonesia and went bankrupt, right? And in my mind, like instead of actually continue to study here, I was thinking like I want to do something like really quick and fast so that I can actually earn the bucks, right? But then that's not the case. So, I was thinking like, okay, what actually possibility things that I could start in this country? So perhaps that actually restaurant industry, the opportunity is wide open. So from there, the journey started. I was thinking like, well, it's not a bad thing. It's actually pretty good that, be able to make it.
And what kind of hours, if you're looking to start a restaurant, what kind of hours did you work to do that?
It depends. First time whenever that I opened this, because this is not corporate, it's a family business technically. I put in myself about 17 hours, 18 hours a day until that
Every
is
day.
the first 4 months, 3-4 months. Because that, we want to making sure that everything goes well for sure.
And is this your first restaurant that you've opened yourself?
No, this is my second restaurant. First restaurant, 5 years ago, I opened in North Carolina, Charlotte, in the Uptowns area. We have a lot of partner. It didn't go so well. Then I closed that down. Then moved to Houston. And then I opened my tax business. That's my first business in Houston.
So you do taxes?
Yes. I'm a certified tax preparer.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect.
And then, get the opportunity. Someone say like, hey, there is an available space open in here in the Heights. And I take a look, and then like, okay, I think I like this area. So then there you go. We got the Sushi by the Heights.
I remember when it opened. I love it.
I'm thinking of geography, just not to get on a cul-de-sac here, but you're talking about tax prep. I just rewatched the movie, The Accountant with Ben Affleck. Did y'all see that?
I did.
Oh, man, was that great?
That was a good movie.
He knew numbers.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, geographically, Chris, you went from the Northeast and then the Carolinas.
Yeah.
What drove you to Houston of all the cities in the United States? And they say we're the fourth largest city, soon to be the third. But why Houston? Did you have a vision, or if what was it?
From New York, then I moved to Jersey, then moved to Maryland, Baltimore.
There's some crab cakes over there. Huh?
Oh yeah, I love that crab cakes in there. Yes. Then I moved to Miami. I bought my first house there in Florida, Fort Lauderdale area.
All since 2007.
No, that is 3 years after that. My 4th year, then I bought my first house on that time. 2 years later, then I sold that house. Then I opened my first restaurant. Then I moved to North Carolina. From North Carolina, then I moved to South Carolina, helping some other restaurant owner to set up their sushi bar. Then I moved to Houston because that once I closed that restaurant, my friend told me like, hey, why don't you come in here in Houston, Texas? It's growing. And he do a tax business. So then I went in with him for the venture. Then that's when my journey started in Houston, technically.
Well, what a great place to actually end up is in Houston, because I love Houston. Is 100% my favorite big city on the planet. I mean, I love it. There's such diversity here. The people are good. I know we
food,
and we become a huge food destination, which is only happened in the last 10 years. I mean, the food's always been okay. But now we're drawing some major talent from across the country into our food industry, and people are actually making trips to come to Houston just to enjoy the food.
Just for the food,
and wine actually ranked us above New York City. And so we just have reached a pinnacle where Houston has decided that's the direction they're going. So you came over from Indonesia with nothing.
Yes.
And then you came over, New York, went to work there, and then you've gone all around the country experimenting with businesses, helping other people with businesses. Then you chose Houston and then the Heights. I mean, I'm super happy you chose the Heights. When I walked in for the first time, loved the food immediately. The ambiance is great. I certainly appreciate all the service when I come here, so can't say enough about how you've done the restaurant. Now, talk about your challenges during COVID, because you opened right before COVID, isn't that right?
After COVID.
Right after COVID.
Right
okay.
after COVID, yeah.
And so what's it like actually starting a restaurant? You said you're working 17, 18 hours a day.
Yeah.
Every day. And was the restaurant open 7 days a week when you initially opened it?
Yes, 7 days a week.
And so you were basically working and sleeping. That's kind of what your life was.
Kind of, yeah.
Okay. And that lasted for the first 4 months.
4 months, yes.
And after that, what did you do? How did you choose your location? What did you do for advertising? How did you get your start here?
Again, like the location, actually, I never came across that looking a restaurant around the Heights area. It's just that one of our friends actually has a connection in here, know the landlord that actually looking for a new tenant for these locations. So I came several times, and the most important thing is opening the business is basically due diligence. Do a lot of due diligence around the area, and what I feel is, something is missing in the Heights is sushi. I mean, like a full menu sushi. We do have a couple of restaurants that have sushi, but they don't have actually full menu. So that's what I was thinking. Like, okay, I think we're missing the full menu here. And the concept in here is basically like Sushi by the Heights is a Japanese, modern Japanese restaurant.
Okay.
And yet we still actually appreciate the local culture, right? Like we love steak. So we have the real food in here, steak, bone-in ribeye, real bone-in ribeye. And what about couple that's coming over here? Like some they eat sushi, the husband maybe don't eat sushi.
Exactly,
They can
I
have
love
the
that.
lobster ravioli. They have the
lobster
chicken
ravioli
parm.
is
I want some.
delicious.
I
Just so we're
want
clear,
some.
it is a fantastic meal.
And as people listen, Sushi by the Heights. That's where we are right now, talking with the owner, Chris Constantine. Chris, let's tell people the address so they know.
Yeah, it is 1111 Steelwood Street, Suite B, Houston, Texas 77008.
I love you also the parking lot, because parking here in the Heights is not always that easy. There's a parking lot across the street, and I love it that there's always there's security there. So you park your car. I park my car over there. I don't even think about it because he's
Right.
over there. He's perusing. You'll see him on a golf cart. He's perusing and making sure that everything's safe. So to have a nice location. You have a nice outside patio area, and you have a parking lot. So it's pretty much everything. But I do love and appreciate that about the restaurant. You have good parking, but you also have a much fuller menu than most of the sushi places I'm used to going to. Because then with my friends, hey, I don't like sushi. That's no problem. This place has plenty you will enjoy. Your duck breast is pretty fabulous. I don't know. It's kind of interesting to go into a sushi restaurant and they have duck breast, but it is delicious. Duck breast, one of my favorite items. What's your favorite item on the menu, Chris?
For me, I like something simple, so I go for the roll, salmon tamago avocado. If I want to eat like protein, is bone-in short ribs on the menu. Yeah.
Okay, and the so when you come here, and I know you've got this. If you've not seen it, you really need to come in and just see it. They have a secret room in the back. You walk in, it looks just like a bookshelf or something in the back. I didn't know until you had that group come in and sing. I had no idea there was a room there. I mean, it just doesn't stand out. You kind of look at it and go, well, that's kind of a funny shape for a restaurant because it blocks it off there. But then you can open it up and have a private party. So how many people will that room accommodate?
It's gonna be 9 people in there.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what would if you wanted to reserve that room, what kind of experience would that be?
Omakase is chef choice technically that you need to reserve ahead of time 2 weeks before the event. It's gonna be chef special. You can have actually just the omakase for the sushi experience itself, and you can actually pairing with the sake.
And you'll do that. It's one of those where you go in and the chef chooses the menu. And so,
Correct.
Is it designed to be an authentic Japanese experience?
Yes, with modern twist. So basically, like what the different omakase here is that you have the history behind it, terminology about the sushi. Why is it that a lot of Japanese people that they're dipping the protein, the fish into the soy sauce? So we actually talk more about that.
Oh, is that right? So you actually go and talk about how it developed into this being a food item.
Correct, yes.
See, Bill, I told you there's just lots and lots of interesting
The
things.
menu
that
is
Chris
unbelievable, but also before we even started the interview here, I heard several places and looked online the fried rice. We talked about that. That is a big hit. So it's always exciting when the main things we order, the accompaniments are also extra special. I don't know how you do it. How do you, as the challenge to have every dish be consistent and awesome, how do you keep that quality control and that precision and detail that it takes to do that, Chris? What would you tell people about that?
Most of the time is quality. Of course, that from the trusted vendor. Also that training. We need to keep making sure that the training goes well. Everyone follow the procedure, how many days that the fish can last, and the way that we're keeping the fish, that's the most important things. That way that, and then we also want to cure the fish process. And that's how actually you're getting the product always consistent. Yeah.
Yeah, the quality is always high here when I come. I mean, that is one of the things that I always love about it. There's a consistency to the fish when I mean, the salmon is rich and creamy and delicious. I normally like smoked salmon better than regular salmon, but here your regular salmon is just as delicious. And is there a way that, do you have to order a special type of salmon? Is it about how you care about the salmon?
Yeah, so for our salmon, we're only using Scottish salmon product or Faroe Island product. Faroe Island product, we only use a certain type of a company called Bakkafrost. That is very well known. Their sources is really incredible. We don't use any Canadian, Chilean, or Norwegian salmons, as we know that Norwegian, the water pollute in there, so it's not actually sushi grade. So the Scottish only. Yes.
So if you buy it, I did not know that. Do you know that, Bill?
Did not.
Had no idea that the water quality wasn't at a level that you could use it for sushi.
All the seafood I eat, I have no idea where it was swimming or living in, but it's good to know that we can come here and Chris knows.
Absolutely.
And it's going to be the best.
He understands where the product comes from.
Where did the fish sleep last night, right?
Before it entered into this box. And if you were giving advice to someone saying, if you want to, because I love entrepreneurship. That's just something I've always enjoyed. I've built multiple companies, and I used to have a crawfish restaurant, which I did love. I sad I still don't have it. I do, just a little plug, make the best crawfish in the city. So I know there's lots of people going to disagree with that because they believe they make the best crawfish in the city. But it is a difficult thing. And actually, restaurants is one of the most, if not the most risky endeavor to get into. Less than 50% of restaurants actually make it.
Of course, yeah.
And so what would you tell people if they wanted to start a business, specifically a restaurant? What's a couple pieces of advice that you would give people for that?
Sure, number one is a due diligence. We know that a lot of young entrepreneur out there that want to start the restaurant journey business at the beginning. They believe like, hey, I can cook. I cook a good food, but it's not only like a good food that we actually need to be knowledgeable. From back of the house, front of the house, where the food coming in, what is the concept.
So just because you can cook well doesn't mean you should open a restaurant?
Correct. Yes. So that's the most
good advice right there.
Good advice. Just because if you love cooking, if it becomes a job once you open a restaurant.
And never give up, for sure. Never give up.
I think that's something that is so important. I mean, when you think about it, one of the things you said is, look, I was willing to put in 17, 18 hours a day. When I opened my crawfish restaurant, now thankfully it was only open 3 months out of the year. So it's not like here, which is a 365-day-a-year job. And it was only open Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But on that Friday, Saturday, Sunday, when I first opened for the first month, I ended up at midnight.
Oh yeah.
That's when I would go to bed about midnight, and then at 5 a.m. I would be back up. And so it was a grueling time. So you need to be prepared for that. That's the kind of commitment that it takes if you're really going to make something
Well,
successful.
you were actually lucky that you still be able to sleep at 12 a.m.
Right.
First time when I opened like 4 a.m., 5 a.m. in the morning. And then you just, get things going. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's hard to wind down. I mean, it's so intense there that it's hard. It's not like you just lay down and you can automatically go to sleep. There's a little wind down period. So I ended up getting 3 to 4 hours of sleep every night. But thankfully, then that was only Friday, Saturday, Sunday, because then, I could sleep during the week. But with you, when you're opening a restaurant, it's every day on a continual basis.
Right.
Well, I hate to say it, guys, but it's time to wind down. Chris, let's tell people the website here. We are on location at Sushi by the Heights, and the address again is?
1111 Steelwood Street, Suite B.
And the
Houston,
website?
Texas. sushibytheheights.com.
sushibytheheights.com. Dave Hite, Hite Tech Inspection. Dave, let's close it out.
Let's do it. And Chris, we really appreciate the
Thank
time.
you,
appreciate you allowing
David.
us to
Appreciate
come.
it.
And I love this
Yes.
restaurant. I love the food. And thank you, John Frells. If you have not joined the Heights Foodies group, please go ahead and join it. And if you've never been here to Sushi by the Heights, come give it a test drive. I promise you won't be disappointed. So we thank you again for having us on.
You.
Thank you, Bill, for coming and setting this all up. We'll look forward to having another show in about a month and talking again with some people in the community.
And Dave, your website is
www.hitetechinspections.com. That's www.hitetechinspections.com. The phone number is 832-477-0367. If you couldn't hear that over the
they're
ambulance,
coming after us.
right? They're coming for us. If you didn't hear that, it is 832-477-0367. If you are buying a new home, please give us a call. I promise you we'll give you the best inspection experience you've ever had with your home.
And always go to radiobill.net. You could find out all the coordinates. You could see this show as we make a YouTube video as we are on location at Sushi by the Heights, radiobill.net. We'll see you next week. Thanks for listening.
At Hite Tech, their motto is great inspections, great customer service, and giving back. They want to make sure their clients receive the best inspection in the industry by using all the latest technology available today to ensure a new home buyer has all the information they need to make an informed decision about their home purchase. They have the most updated infrared to detect hidden water leaks, electrical malfunctions, and missing insulation, as well as moisture meters that can detect moisture 2 to 3 inches beyond the surface to find hidden moisture in the structure. They also have water, Wi-Fi cameras so they can perform a roof inspection even in the rain. Every foundation is measured with the best altimeter to check for variations that could indicate foundation issues. They even have a drone that can go under pier and beam houses so they can see the entire underside of the structure. After performing the inspection, they meet with every client to go over the findings so you can ask questions about anything they found. And they also talk about maintaining your home. Their promise to you is they will never leave until all of your questions are answered. Their reports are easy to read and include pictures and videos of all the important items in your house. They also work with your agent to help prioritize the important items on the report. At Hite Tech, they want to make sure you have the best experience in the industry if you choose to use them for your home inspection. And they are there with you as long as you own your home. As long as you own the home Hite Tech inspected, you can send a picture or video of anything going on with your home, and they will give you a free, unbiased opinion about what is happening and tell you who you need to call to address the problem. You'll also be supporting many local projects to help veterans and underprivileged people in the Houston area. If you need a home inspection, call Hite Tech first at 832-477-0367 or schedule on the web at hitetechinspections.com. That's HITE techinspections.com. You'll be glad you did.
Bill Knapik has produced another show, Successful Living with Bill Knapik, one of the most unique programs of its kind. Sundays from 6 to 7 p.m. on AM 950 KPRC. Successful Living with Bill Knapik. Go to radiobill.net for more info.